Hi, this is my audience. Hi, my name is Sarai Lopez, and I chose to do Hillary Clinton's 1995 Women's Rights are Human Rights speech. I would like to thank the Secretary General of the United Nations for inviting me to be part of the Fourth World Conference on Women. It's truly a celebration. It's also a coming together. Our goals for this conference to strengthen families and societies by empowering women to take greater control over their own destinies cannot be fully achieved unless all governments here and around the world accept their responsibilities to protect and promote internationally recognized human rights. The international community has long acknowledged that both women and men are entitled to a range of protections and personal freedoms. From the right of personal security to the right to determine freely the number and spacing of the children they bear. No one should be forced to remain silent for free or religious or political persecution, arrest, abuse, or torture. Tragically, women are most often the ones whose human rights are violated. Even in the late 20th centuries, the rape of women continues to be used as an instrument of armed conflict. Women and children make up a large majority of the world's refugees. When women are excluded from the political process, they become even more vulnerable to abuse. I believe it is time to break our silence. It is time for us to say here in Beijing and the world to hear that it is no longer acceptable to discuss women's rights as a separate form of human rights. These abuses have continued because for too long the history of women has been a history of silence. Every day, there are those who are trying to silence our world. The voices of this conference must be heard loud and clear. It's a violation of human rights when babies are denied food, or drowned, or suffocated, or their spines broken simply because they are born girls. It's a violation of human rights when women and girls are sold into slavery of slavery of prostitution. It's a violation of human rights when women are doused with gasoline, set on fire, burned to death because their marriage dowries are deemed too small. It's a violation of human rights when individual women are raped in their own communities and when thousands of women are subjected to rape as a tactic or prize of war. It's a violation of human rights when a leading cause of death worldwide among ages 14 to 44 is the violence they are subjected to in their own homes. It is a violation of human rights when women are denied the right to plan their own families. And that includes being forced to have abortions or being sterilized against their will. If there is one message that echoes forth from this conference, is that human rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights. Let us not forget that among those rights are the right to speak freely and the right to be heard. Women must enjoy the right to participate fully in social and political lives of their countries if we want freedom and democracy to thrive and endure. Let me be clear. Freedom means the right of people to assemble, organize, and debate openly. It means respecting the views of those who may disagree with the views of their government. It means not taking citizens away from their loved ones and jailing them, mistreating them, or denying them their freedom or dignity because of peaceful expressions of their ideas and opinions. Now it's time to act on behalf of women everywhere. If we take bold steps to better the life of women, we will take bold steps to better the lives of children and families too. As long as discrimination and inequalities remain so commonplace around the world, as long as girls and women are valued less, fed last, overworked, underpaid, not schooled, and subjected to violence in and out of their homes, the potential of human family to create a peaceful, prosperous world will not be realized. Let this conference be our and the world's call to action. And let us heed the call so that we can create a world in which every woman is treated with dignity and respect. Every boy and girl is loved and cared for equally, and every family has the hope of a strong and stable future. God blessing on you and your work and who will benefit from it all. Thank you. Why I chose Hillary Clinton's speech is because a few of the topics she brought to light in 1995 are still an ongoing battle in 2025. For example, a major controversy before the last election between men and women was whether or not abortion should be legal. I strongly believe that it shouldn't have been a main topic of discussion during a bigger problem in today's country. With that being said, I believe that the topic should have been left for women who have the right to vote to solve that solution through voting and to come together to find a solution. Mrs. Clinton states human rights are women's rights and women's rights are human rights. Let us not forget that among those rights are the rights to speak freely and the rights to be heard. So when will we allow women to speak freely and be heard without judgment? Finally, I can acknowledge there has been a drastic progression in women's rights, but we're still battling for women to have control over their bodies. Control over their bodies, equal pay as men, hoping that the unfortunate increase in women's sex trafficking will one day decrease. So when do men and women come together to agree upon women's rights being human rights? That is why I chose Hillary Clinton's speech.